is a technique for presenting phases and activities of a project work structure. It is also known as a work plan. It is used for schedule management as a visual way of showing a project, but is unwidely for large, complex projects. It should include milestones, dependencies, durations, and activity owners, but it is not good at illustrating resource requirements. So when drawing up a Gantt chart, you have at the vertical axis all the activities that you have outlined that you need to conduct in order to achieve your objectives and your overall goal. Whilst on the horizontal axis, you're always showing the time frame that it takes to actually conduct that activity. Sometimes the time frame could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be quarters, it actually could even be years. It depends on when the activities you have decided need to occur. Now, even as you draw up your Gantt chart, you need to ensure that you draw it up chronologically, in the sense that certain activities need to happen before other activities can happen. For example, if you want to extend the product life cycle of a product, the product first has to exist. So the product actually being launched already in the market will be your starting point. Then from there, it would be all the activities that you would conduct in order to extend the product life cycle. So now Gantt charts may vary in the way they are drawn, because maybe it may require you to show other things. For instance, dependencies. It may require you to show probably maybe budget elements, maybe the cost of a certain activity, or it may require you to show the person who is responsible in achieving this certain activity. It may also show the deliverables that you expect to deliver as a result of a certain activity. So that's what we mean when we say Gantt charts may vary, but overall you always have activities going down in the vertical axis, whilst the time frame going across in the horizontal axis. So we've been given an example here where it shows activities in the first column, the second column deliverables, the third column the person responsible, and within the fourth column there is specified times according to quarters, with 2 years put, because this is what this project wanted to deliver. And now remember, your activities are actually coming out from the objectives that you have set to achieve. So activities are breaking down that objective again into achievable tasks that aim to help you get to the point of achieving your overall objective. So they have to be time bound, definitely. So with the Gantt chart, what you do is, when a certain activity is expected to occur, you actually shade. Is it the quarter? Is it maybe the second day of the month? We've had this question. People ask, oh, when to use a Gantt chart? You can use a Gantt chart not just only at organizational level, but even at personal level. You could draw up a Gantt chart of a daily tasks, weekly tasks, and some of the things that you would expect to do the first time would be to get up, to brush your teeth before you do all other activities. So that is just an example of a Gantt chart. The other example of the Gantt chart that we had actually showed activities as well as a cost implication of the activity. So more so when you are receiving funding nowadays, an activity-based budget is preferred. which means every activity is costed. For instance, if you wanted to do maybe some work at a community school, the first thing you would do would be to schedule a meeting with teachers and headmasters. Maybe if you want to do something with sports, so maybe the teacher that teaches sport, so that would actually be costed as an activity, just like initial meeting before you actually start to have maybe sporting activities with the school, that kind of thing. So you could be able to budget that specific activity. Aside from that, everything else remains the same. Other work plans or Gantt charts would actually ask for what do you expect to achieve as a result of this activity. So what is the expected result of this activity? So for instance, if you are conducting an activity where you are going to train people, the expected result is qualified trained staff in a particular program. So that is a Gantt chart. It is absolutely critical because it helps you to schedule out what needs to happen first, and then all the way through as you implement your project. So it is absolutely critical to project management. It's actually absolutely critical because as you draw up a work plan, you'll be able to see, oh, maybe we had thought that this activity is important, but as you draw it out, you see that maybe it's not important, or maybe it's being done already, so you can focus on what hasn't been done. So it helps you to schedule out in bite-sized form the objectives you aim to achieve.